Coming up on today's After News, Jinder Mahal shoots on WWE Experience.
Jeff Hardy's guilt and shame about his AEW run.
AEW forced to change blood and guts.
And Triple H open to a Brock Lesnar return.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And I'm Phil Chambers.
And this is the After News. And we start with former WWE star and indeed WWE champion Jinder Mahal. Back sort of under his real name and out and about working now sort of in the independents as his no compete ran out. He's going to work Mike Bailey coming soon and every random manner of random Jinder Mahal match you could want. Well,
love it.
As a result, obviously, he's kind of an in-demand persona at present. He took to TikTok to answer some questions about his time in WWE and everything like that. And there was one in particular who reacted to where I went into quite a lot of detail about WWE, quote, dropping the ball on his time in WWE. That was from one of his fans, I should point out. And he answered the question in quite a lot of detail. Jinder, like the real name, Raj Desi, I should say. He pushed back on quite a lot of that and spoke about his 12 years altogether with the company. He said, quote, "So I see this comment a lot and I want to share my opinion on it. WWE dropped the ball on me. I would say that's not true. Had a very long career, 12 years in WWE, WWE champion, won the United States Championship at WrestleMania, made a great living, set myself up for the future, for the rest of my life, given me a sense of financial independence where I can now do what I want to do, freedom, flexibility, got to travel the world, build amazing relationships, and a lot of good memories, and it's going to continue now in the independents, just doing things my way. So WWE did not drop the ball. I had a great career, a great time, and yeah, thank you for all the fans tuning in for these years." So quite the sort of pragmatic and diplomatic answer to the question. Doesn't want to seem to burn any bridges, leave any doors slammed shut or anything like that. And sort of when he lays it out, it's a little bit of Wikipedia reading there, but you can kind of get where he's going. It doesn't feel bad faith, this, does it?
Not at all. I really like this outlook on things. It's like, it's very similar to Shelton Benjamin. We had an interview with him where Miller was talking to him over WrestleMania weekend, and he was saying about like people saying like, oh, they never plus Shelton Benjamin enough, like poor Shelton, and he's like, don't poor Shelton me. I got to like travel the world with my friends, like earning like good money to like travel the world and do what he loves. Like, don't poor Shelton him. And like this is a very similar outlook on it. It's like, just to get to WWE, regardless of what you do within the company, is incredible.
It's an achievement, isn't it?
Not a lot of people do
wrestler.
that as a pro wrestler, to actually make it to WWE. And then to be able to stay there for 12 years and to say that you were WWE champion, it's like there's very, very few people in the sort of wrestling landscape that get to say that. And he does, and like he gets to have that for the rest of his life now, and now he gets to go to GCW and do some crazy things, and it's going to be super entertaining, and I genuinely can't wait for him in GCW.
I think he could make quite a name for himself as a real cult figure on the indies. I also want him to get even more jacked than when he had the WWE title, because he always looked bigger going from WWE to the indies as it is. So he turns up, I use this example quite a lot, but he could turn up looking like the solid gold giant Homer Simpson compared to some of the wrestlers he's about to work.
Not just the indie wrestlers, but the smaller rings and things as well. He will look like a giant compared to them.
I'm up for that.
Brilliant.
He worked Sid, remember, in his last break from WWE in a weird indie sort of those two. Like he could now become the Sid type guy in terms of stature. So all love to Raj Desi in this quite nice response to somebody looking for a bit of a dig.
Absolutely, great outlook, and I wish him the best on his indie run. I think it's going to be really fun. But Jeff Hardy, moving over, he was speaking to the Busted Open Radio, basically, and they had some questions for him. Basically, like a little bit about his time in AEW and his move to TNA and things. So there's a bit of a backstory. He joined AEW in like March 2022, and then in June 2022, he was arrested on a DUI very shortly after arriving. He entered rehab and got suspended from the company, and returned in April 2023, where he had a hit and miss run, so stop-start pushes and things. It never really clicked or came together before both of them left the company earlier this year, and now they are both in TNA. But yeah, he was asked about mainly his goals in TNA, and his response to it was, definitely to win the TNA tag team titles. I still have so much guilt and shame from AEW giving me an opportunity, and even Matt, to me breaking trust with my personal issues and real life. I want to make that up to Matt. I will say right here that I will not break TNA's trust. That is in my past. It feels good to have somewhat of a clean slate with that stuff and start fresh instead of having that guilt and shame about what I did in a certain world of pro wrestling. So hopefully this is a new outlook on life and a fresh start for Jeff Hardy, who has obviously been riddled with demons in his past. And hopefully this is him finally getting them together. Yeah,
he's battled addiction issues through lots of his work. We're kind of 20 years into the first time he was having conversations with WWE about not wanting to go through their rehab back in 2003, I think it was. So this is not a new story. I suppose it is a news story on account of the fact that here he is yet again, as he's done in the past, to be absolutely fair to Jeff Hardy, owning the mistakes he's made and trying to like push forward and say not again. And anyone that's ever dealt with addictions or people with addictions will know this is a kind of reality of that. You are never not having the fight. Are you? Never cured. Are you? You're always kind of fighting. So I guess like strength to Jeff Hardy on this run, and it's. The more he's in wrestling, the more obviously there is the opportunity, I guess, for things that kind of make his life difficult. But naturally, as such a bankable star, companies will always take a go on him, and indeed he probably does it for the love of the game as well. So it's one of them situations, isn't it, where like the two things maybe sometimes don't need each other, but at the same time sort of do.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little bit easier within the TNA system with like less travel, less dates.
Yeah.
Whereas, like the sort of the road life is obviously going to be a big trigger for these kind of things.
Had some of his like lowest lows in TNA, but also some of his highs, and quite a strong redemption arc at one point in his career. So with any luck, this will be another one.
Absolutely.
To somebody still in AEW, though not as in AEW as AEW would have liked, as it turns out, we go to the plans for Blood and Guts and the Elite AEW feud that's had to be changed as a result of an injury. Eddie Kingston was supposed to play a major role. This is according to Fight for Select. They noted in the news report that originally Eddie Kingston was supposed to factor into the AEW versus Elite story prior to his injury that he suffered, obviously, while working for New Japan. On Blood and Guts itself, they noted that Team AEW had been planning to win the match for quite some time, and this could wait into future stories. Of course, the Elite won the first match at Double or Nothing when they had the Anarchy in the Arena. AEW have won this one in Blood and Guts. Neither has had stakes suggesting that there is more or less power, as they've never kind of gone in hard on that element of it. It's more just been
of what it's for.
Yeah, they haven't been too clear on that, but apparently these results were always supposed to play out as they have done. But Eddie Kingston would have factored in. He was, of course, integral to the Inner Circle. Not Inner Circle, Jericho Appreciation Society Blood and Guts match with the BCC back in 2022. If you remember, he had Jericho ready to tap on the roof, but then Claudio Castagnoli got the submission first, and I was like, you again! Following on from his iconic Anarchy in the Arena gas canister moment and all of that.
That photo.
Yeah, well, there was Darby Allin more than happy to set somebody on fire in Blood and Guts on Wednesday. I'm sure Eddie Kingston wouldn't have had a problem either. It wasn't listed as who might have stepped in as a result of this. You could maybe think perhaps Mark Briscoe's the Ring of Honor World Champion is a nice fit. There's a good like for like with him and Eddie Kingston there. But yes, it was certainly part of the plans for him to feature more than he's been able to. Get well soon, Mad King. Obviously, we welcome you back on AEW as soon as you are fit to do so. And I guess
we do.
We will see heading towards Wembley just how AEW's victory might have sort of changed the narrative or anything. But
and whether they end up doing some kind of stadium stampede.
Well, possibly,
Huge stadium in
Speaking
London.
of a stadium stampede, Phil, what I'll probably do on the day of All In is stampede towards the stadium at like 5 to 3.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
Why?
Instead, you should stampede 2 minutes away from the stadium in the other direction and get yourself one of these t-shirts.
I didn't even know you were wearing that t-shirt. That has all the details of our show on.
At What Culture Live at Wembley-ish. 2 minutes walk away from Wembley Stadium at the Crystal Club. £20 for tickets, whatculture.com/tickets. It's going to be a live show with us. There's going to be a meet and greet and hang out afterwards. You can get some food, you can get some drinks, you can have a drink with us.
Super relaxed.
Loads of time before you head over to the stadium whenever you choose to head over to the stadium. So just hang out with us until you're ready to head on over to AEW and watch the big show.
That sounds like a perfect lunchtime, a perfect afternoon watching AEW All In 2024.
Yep.
And then what I'll probably do is like ruin the day a little bit by joining that massive queue to get on the tube or to get out at Wembley. There's just loads of people. It's kind of a nightmare, but you can't have everything. You can't have a perfect day, can you?
You can't at all, but I mean, that sounds like a great idea. But you know what sounds like a greater idea?
What?
Not doing any of that.
What?
I'm going to Sweet Chin Disco's All In After Party.
What is that?
In the same venue that our live show is in. We had Sweet Chin Disco we're going to have to play. It is hosted by our very own Adam Wilborn. He's definitely going to do the Prince Nana dance. So
sure.
Prince Nana is doing a live DJ set there.
Yeah.
And maybe Adam Wilborn will do some rapping because I probably won't. But Max
throwing him
Caster's
under so
doing a
many
rap
buses
show.
there, but he's not here.
He's not here, he can't defend himself. So yeah, and Max Caster's doing a rap show there as well.
Yeah.
And there's going to be like wrestling music and booze and things, and it's open till late, like 3 a.m. or something
Back
like
at
that.
the Crystal Club.
Back
So
at
no
the
commute
Crystal Club,
whatsoever.
straight
Wait for the traffic
afterwards.
to die down, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So basically, it turns your All In Sunday into the perfect day.
Sunday becomes a fun day. What Culture and Sweet Chin Disco.
Such a perfect day.
We want to spend it with you. whatculture.com/tickets.
There it is. You know who Triple H wants to spend his perfect day with?
Probably not us, but who?
Probably definitely not us. Brock Lesnar, apparently. Maybe not a perfect day. But anywho, he's been talking about the potential of a Brock Lesnar return in WWE. Brock Lesnar obviously last wrestled in WWE at SummerSlam last year when he lost to Cody Rhodes. And then he was named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit against WWE, John Laurinaitis, and Vince McMahon, obviously. And the sex trafficking allegations that went into that, he was kind of named as the person that Vince was trying to traffic her to.
Yeah, there was like, it was initially implicated and then it was like kind of...
Yeah.
Was he named, like, it was Dots being joined before?
It was
like,
Dots being joined, and then that's the guy. And then eventually his name came out.
Cloud over him ever since. So
exactly.
Like,
So, he got asked by... Triple H got asked, not Brock Lesnar, by Mail Sport about the potential of a Brock Lesnar return. And Triple H has this to say. You'd have to ask Brock Lesnar that. Brock does his own thing, so he's up in Canada, I'm sure, watching his kids play hockey and enjoying life. If and when he decides that he would like to do something, we'd be open to the conversation, but we'll see.
That's probably as diplomatic an answer as Triple H can give. He's not the best under the pressure of this lawsuit, often when asked, but he's kind of got away with this one here, hasn't he? Like, open to it from a company point of view is the smart answer from a business perspective, because typically Brock has been a business driver, or even when he's not so much a draw in the ratings or necessarily for tickets, using him, as we saw with SummerSlam, as a perfect example, to put somebody over as strong as he did Cody, or to do some sort of like wild exhibition match. There is never not value in a Brock Lesnar, and typically the more he's away, the more the value sort of increases all over again. So we're probably at quite an interesting point with Brock Lesnar. There's no clue or indication of how fans would respond to a Brock Lesnar return in light of the controversy. WWE have probably been smart to shy away from that for the time being.
I think so. There was also the Minnesota WrestleMania that... Was it Minnesota?
That's now going to be a double...
got swapped for the Vegas thing.
SummerSlam 25 is going to be on.
And that got moved back, but it very much felt like they might have been building a WrestleMania around Lesnar, and then when all this happened, they were like, maybe we should push that back and see where we're at, and that's become the big... I mean, it's become a much bigger deal than one WrestleMania. It's like a Royal Rumble at SummerSlam.
That's right. Of course, the three.
They've got the big deal. It feels like that might have been a part of it until this happened, but...
They loved it around WrestleMania, didn't they? The whole new era, new start, and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's WWE, so it's like, new era, new start. All the other guys are gone. 6 months later, we'll take Brock back. Thanks very much. So, there's countless. There's always like a big new Brock Lesnar match. There was the mooted and then unfortunately dropped match with Gunther that I think like itself could be a bigger draw. Well, it's a big draw anyway, but especially when Gunther becomes the world heavyweight champion, as we think he might at SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
They're not going to run out of Brock Lesnar big matches, so it's one thing for Triple H to say, ask him. And I think more people should probably continue to ask. Triple Paul on that one.
If anything, it's Triple H putting the ball in Brock Lesnar's court, which is kind of just passing the buck a little bit.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
But let us know down in the comments below if you want to see Brock Lesnar back in WWE, and if so, who you want him to face. While you're at it, following on this sort of road that you're travelling down, you know what else you can do?
What is that, Phil?
You can continue your YouTube journey right here.